Welcome to the Toucan Talks podcast, brought to you by Kickstart Collective. Join us as we talk to local Wilmington business owners about what has led to their successes, challenges, and more. No question is off limits as we bounce from topic to topic.
And this podcast is brought to you by Kickstart Studios. Kickstart Studios is Wilmington's newest video podcast studio. Equipped with multiple camera angles and an in-house producer, creating a high-quality video podcast has never been easier. Don't let the tech and gear learning curve hold you back from jumping into podcasting or created video content any longer. Our team takes care of it all for you so you can focus on the message you want to share. You simply show up, record, and receive the final product. No more wasting time setting it up and breaking down the gear, setting up lights, or doing sound checks on your own. Our in-house producer will have everything set up and ready to go for you. Check us out at Kickstart Studios.
Welcome, Will, to the Toucan Talks podcast. We're excited to have you on today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Amanda, which I guess is a mutual friend. I used to work with her, but she connected us via Instagram, which is awesome. So we're excited to have you on to talk about your company. And then you have a pretty vast marketing background and business background. So I think it'll be a fun episode with lots of kind of different directions we can go. So what I'll do is I'll explain how this portion of the podcast works. And then I'll let you kind of jump in with just your experience and background and how you got to where you are today. So basically we have this lovely board. So when the time comes, you'll drop a coin or a token anywhere you want on the board. If it lands on a 1, it's a more business related question. If it lands on a 2, it's more of like a get to know you question. There's some oddball questions in there. Sometimes we call it the party can. Sometimes we call it the toucan because of the logo. And it's the 2 question.
And yes, I see what you did
there. Yeah, we did it. We went all in on this one. So yeah, basically that's that. We'll see where it goes. But you have Creative Outdoor Solutions is your current business. Yep. And then as we were chatting about before, you had a marketing agency. We're in the corporate world for a little bit. Had a few other ventures going. So I'll let you jump in and kind of just share background and how you got to where you are.
Yeah, so I am the product of not being able to find a job when you first graduate college. So I graduated East Carolina back in 2006. Okay. And we were playing in a cover band. I was DJing at a bar, having time of my life, right? Knew every bar owner downtown Greenville, which is really not something to like brag about, but I just did, right? But none of them could help me find a job. So I could not find a job just back in 2006. So I had to move back home with mom and dad. And they were living in Indiana at the time. Oh, cool. So I grew up in Indianapolis. So I had to basically pack everything up, U-haul it back up to Indy, and started just doing marketing for family friends. My dad's a big golfer, so I started doing stuff for golf courses. And then that slowly just turned into more work, and ended up having a full-service marketing agency for close to 15 years. And then decided to go into the corporate world, got a random phone call one afternoon and said, "Hey, you don't know me, but you know my husband, and I need somebody who is interested and knows a lot about sneakers and also marketing." I said, "Well, you called the right guy." Yeah. So I went into brand management for a sneaker accessory. Cool. And then I'll fast forward over other things, but most recently was vice president of marketing for a home builder. And he was an entrepreneur. And so while I was there, I got pulled into a meeting and he said, "Hey man, we're going to start a farm." I was like, okay, well that's left field, right? So I'm going to start a farm and we're going to sell beef, chicken, pork online. Nice. And I need you to help me. So we basically, from the ground up, built an e-commerce business that sold meat online. And at the time when I left, we were doing about $30,000 a month in sales. Nice, that's awesome. So sorry, that's the long-winded flyover of who I am, but there you go.
No, that's a good stage because we can. Some of these questions, they can go all sorts of directions. So it's good to have the scope of the background. 2 things I forgot. So technically, this is season 2 of the podcast. So. Okay. We are focusing a little bit more like in terms of content on different strategies, whether that's business or marketing or however we want to go there. These coins, every now and again, if they get, sometimes they get stuck. If it gets stuck on a peg, then you get to ask me a question. Tables get turned. There's a stack of like prompts back there if we need them, or you can just make up questions.
Okay.
And then they also sometimes fly off the board. We'll upgrade this board at some point, but if 3 of them fly off during the course of this podcast, then you win a prize. And we just got our prizes in today. It's very exciting. We took this to a whole nother level of a game show. So they're these beautiful sticky nodes. They're basically dry erase sticky notes.
I like those.
And they stick to any surface. They're super cool. So you would win those if it flies off 3 times.
So nobody comes out and gives me a car?
No
Okay.
cars, not yet.
Okay.
One day we'll get there. We'll get one of the car dealerships to sponsor us. You get a car. So yeah, I think that's it. So feel free to drop it wherever.
So drop it down.
Wherever your heart desires. Starting with the biz. Okay. Okay. So obviously you were just talking about, you had kind of a marketing background, ran a marketing agency. How do you feel like your marketing experience plays into your role as now a business owner?
A lot, because I think it gives me a pretty good understanding of people, right? So, and I've done B2C, I've done B2B, and B2B gets a bad rap because people are like, well, I can't sell to a business. Well, you're actually still selling to a person, right, at the other end. So, I mean, I think just like all different walks of life of people, learning about people, what makes people, tick inside. And I think that as a marketing person kind of gives you the leg up into the business ownership, because it's all about people, right? It's all about building relationships, for people to understand what you do. I don't know if you follow Donald Miller, guy's a huge marketing guy, has a company called Story Brand, and his whole thing is if you confuse, you lose. Right. And that has stuck with me my entire career, basically, of just keep it super simple and try to just connect with people.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think did we talk about your current, before we go further into this, the current business?
Can.
Yeah, let's jump into that.
Sorry, I didn't cover that.
That's totally fine. So Creative Outdoor Solutions, you guys have awnings and storm protection. I'll let you give the spiel.
So basically we provide peace of mind.
Okay.
And I've never done this spiel, so this is the first time I've ever done this.
Here's the camera there if you want to
if you need peace of mind. No, but that's basically what it is. So, right. So everyone knows that when a storm's coming, right? Heaven forbid. I mean, at one point in time, it's going to happen.
When we live here, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. And you're glued to the TV because of the spaghetti model, right? And one little path that could potentially go over your house is the one that you're like, please no. Yeah. Please no, but that might be the one, right? Ocean. So with us, what we're trying to do is provide people with peace of mind. So we do everything from like the roll down shutters, awnings, everything. So we have storm protection, and then I would say like lifestyle products from like protection from sun, stuff like that.
Cool.
So everything, you can get it on an app. You can hit a button. Everything comes down. No more plywood, nailing up, all that fun stuff.
Is it mostly residential, or is it residential and commercial?
So we're trying to do both.
Cool.
It's residential, and then like commercial now. You've seen like all these apartment complexes that have those like cool Bahama shutters like on the outside. Makes it look very tropical. So yeah, that is something we're certainly going after too.
Cool. Awesome. That sounds good. All right, let's go ahead and drop another coin, and we'll see where we
round 2.
Where we land. Ooh, mixing it up. We've had recently, everyone's been landing on like the same number, so this will be get some variety.
This is fun personal, right?
Okay, yeah. This one's about Wilmington. So I know you. How long have you been?
7 months.
7 months. Oh, this will be good then. What's your least favorite thing about Wilmington?
Least favorite
Your least
thing.
favorite.
Can I say orange traffic cones?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, everyone, when we were moving down here, everyone kind of said, you're going to hate it. The traffic's terrible. It's no different than anywhere else. I mean, if you leave Raleigh at a certain time, you're going to get traffic. But I will say, so I live up in Porter's Neck
Okay.
area, and
You get that.
and coming down 17 is absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
And now that the bigs, I have 2 kids, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they go to Wilmington Christian Academy. And so leaving from Porter's Neck now and coming south, now that the huge bridge is like under construction, brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
We were driving down, or we were going to the Children's Museum this week, and my 5-year-old was like, why is that whole thing blocked off? And I was like, well, buddy, they're working on the bridge.
Yep.
And it's terrible.
It's brutal.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yep, so orange traffic
Yes.
cones. I do not like those.
No, one day in 10 years, they'll get that
They'll be
figured
done,
out,
yeah.
and Wilmington will have grown, and they'll just start doing it somewhere
When my
else.
kids are in college,
Yes.
then we'll be done with
Yes.
orange cones.
That's a good one. I don't know if we've gotten that one yet. That one's been like a standard question in there this season, but I don't know if anyone's drawn
What
it
do
yet.
most people say?
I think you were the first one to get that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We have one that's like your favorite thing about Wilmington, but we decided to mix it up this time.
Man, all right. Let's go. I'm going to do my reach. Go over there.
Oh, no.
See, that's almost a car. That's a free car.
Almost a car. 2 more, you get a car. Oh, that was close to jumping off again. All right, business. All right. What advice would you give to a person either about to start a business or early on in their business ownership journey?
That's a really good question. I would say, and I mean, I hate to use the same answer, but understand the person you're going after, right? So, I mean, I think a lot of people try to do everything for everyone.
Yeah.
And you can't do everything for everyone, right? And I learned the hard way when I was doing a marketing agency is we were a full service marketing agency. And somebody said, well, who are you looking to work with? I don't care.
Yeah.
As long as they
Do
need
they need
marketing, that's who I want to, connect with. But a friend of mine, an advisor, once told me, hey, like, you got to get specific, right? And the term that he used was you have to tighten your ask. And that's ASK. But you have to know what to ask for, right? And so what he means by that is, knowing that, like, hey, if someone says, well, who do you want to work with? Well, I want to service, bakeries. Well, then immediately you might go, oh, okay, well, my aunt actually owns a bakery, or the girl down the street was thinking about starting a bakery, right? It's like asking Jay Leno, who's a huge car guy, right? Collects tons of cars. So what's your favorite car? He's, well, I like them all.
Yeah.
Well, if you say you like them all, nothing really comes to mind, right? So, but if you said, man, I really love a red Ferrari. Well, at least you can picture a red Ferrari, right? And kind of get a little bit more specific. So I would say understanding who you're going after and what you're offering that person would be my number one piece of advice.
Yeah. That's good advice. I feel like we preach the target audience side of it, like all day, every day. It's like, we can help you, but like, who are you trying to help?
Yeah, who are you? Yeah, exactly. Who is your ICP?
Yes. What can we, how can we connect with those people? So yeah, that's great advice. All right, sweet. Let's drop another one.
All right.
2. All right, we're getting good variety. Let's see here. Okay, what is your go-to productivity trick, hack? Are you productive?
No. No, I'm not.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
We just met 10 minutes ago, so I'm like, hey, I don't know.
No.
If you
Small lists.
Okay.
So I have a terrible habit. I have a giant whiteboard in my house, and I have a terrible habit of just putting everything on it. And then I look up there and I'm like, how in the world am I ever going to get it all done? And then for me, I kind of freeze up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even know where to start, right? All this stuff, don't even know where to start. So I've learned, yes, you can have the master huge list, but just chunks of 3, right?
Yeah.
Like little things of 3, or batching things that are very similar. So if you need to edit photos from 6 podcasts, then cool, let's do all of that at once versus editing one photo and then jump into something different, because your mind kind of starts to like get into that habit of like, okay, cool, I'm going to edit all these, like-minded things, get them done, and then move on.
Yeah.
So small lists and doing similar things together.
Yeah, I like that. We were talking about, before this too, you also have a podcast.
I do.
So you have your business and the podcast, which are two separate
things. Yep.
Which is cool. So do you feel like do you have days where you're like, okay, I'm going to work mostly on the business side of things, and then days where you're going to do the podcasts and that creative side, or is it kind of just depend on the day?
It kind of depends. So the podcast makes zero money, right? So,
I hear that.
And
just kidding.
and it has no other purpose than just a creative outlet.
Cool.
And it's probably the first time I've ever done something where I said, you know what? I don't care if one person listens to it, 1,000 people listen to it. If I make money off of doing this, I do not care. I purely want to do it for fun and to be creative.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it does get put on the back burner.
Yeah.
But I try to record every other week.
Nice.
Just to get something out.
Yeah.
I have failed miserably lately because the holidays, I started it last October, November-ish,
Nice.
and had like 6, 7, 8 people lined up. And then we went into the holiday season.
It's just crazy.
And everybody was like, sorry, man, I would love to, but, and now I got to get back going. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. I guess it was last week. I was like, I think I need like a side hustle, but not a side hustle. Maybe I just need a hobby, and I need to like have a hobby that I'm not trying to like turn into a business.
I will tell you, it's quite refreshing.
Yeah.
Just to not, because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a hustler. Every single thing I've ever done, I wanted to make money.
Yeah,
at
there's
it.
like a way to turn it into a business or to monetize it.
Yep. And I'm just like, for this, I'm just purely going to interview people and have fun with it and see where it goes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a lesson probably all business owners need to learn at some point.
Yep.
Not everything has to be a business.
That's right.
All right, sweet. Let's drop another one.
Okay. I'll go all the way over here.
Oh,
See?
two. One more. You get some sticky notes, which would be a great compliment to your giant whiteboard.
Yeah, I know, right?
Man, I'm here to give away the sticky notes. Okay, so I guess let's start with the business you're in now. So how did you get into that? It says current line of work technically, but how did that business come about? How did you guys get to Wilmington?
So my dad grew up in Morehead City, and his best friend, one of his best friends from growing up, owned a very similar company.
Cool.
My dad, his cousin, and one other guy bought that business from Bobby 5 or so years ago. Nice. Their plan was to always expand it down the coast, come into Wilmington. And when we were thinking about moving to Wilmington, my best friend who lives here in Wilmington, real estate agent, Matt Costin. If you need a house, no, just kidding. It's just a small shout out.
Pop his business card up on the screen.
just no big deal. Just call Matt. That's 910. No, just kidding. So he actually was going to buy into the bigger business that my dad owned. And I was gonna kind of stay out of it, and at the time had a full-time job. And I was like, I'm moving. I got too much going on. Yeah. But long story short, my dad's business partners actually bought my dad out. Gotcha. Gave him hey, go do whatever you want to go do. They didn't want to expand anymore, and so my dad has an accounting degree, so he's going to keep the books. Nice. I'm marketing and sales, and Matt's just the eye candy. Cool. So he can just be the networker eye candy. He knows everybody in town. So being an agent for 15 years, he's sort of our little networker. I know nothing. I shouldn't probably say this, but I'm going to anyway. I know nothing about hurricane shutters.
There you go.
So
you're about to.
I'm about to. So that, it kind of just happened, fell into place. And it wasn't like I woke up one morning and was like, I'm going to start a storm protection company.
Yeah.
So.
Epiphany.
Yep.
That's awesome. I think we were talking in the last episode about when you're like the difference between like starting a business on your own and then starting it with other people, and like how each person, well, we didn't get into this, but like each person kind of has their thing that they take the lead on, and you don't have to be an expert in everything.
That's right. You do not want me keeping the books.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like, my dad with the accounting degree, and then you don't want my dad doing marketing. No. So
Sorry.
that's why me, right? So
Sorry, Will's dad.
yeah, it's fine. We won't send him the link.
Yeah. It's on the internet. So you may or may not find it, depending on, I don't know your dad. Yeah, it's funny. So Luke and I, technically I own our marketing agency, but my husband is Luke. But we kind of started it together, but very early on it was like, okay, especially, once you start mixing family and business, it was like, this is my lane, this is your lane. And it works out great, but it is funny. At times you're like, when it starts like who's doing what. So I think when they know what they're good at and everyone else is kind of in agreement, having a team, especially a team of stakeholders, is nice.
Yeah. It's hard to go at it alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I did that with the marketing agency, and doing it by yourself and being accountable for yourself, motivating yourself. You really do have to find other people that like you can go get coffee with and like who are also working on something, because waking up every day and trying to like just do it alone, it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it is, but we have a great team. So I don't even know what that's like. Sweet. Well, yeah, I think in terms of season 2 and talking strategy, is there anything, and this can be from across the businesses, but that you feel like, and again, it can be business strategy or marketing strategy, that you feel like has like had a big impact on your business or your life, or like something like a good takeaway for people listening from a strategy standpoint?
So I think some of the things that I've been fortunate to be a part of and do always had to do with kind of peeling back the onion or like the curtain to show people how things actually work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It may just be me, but I'm always curious as to how people do things. And so when we would build content and showing people really like the raw, real things behind the business, it always seemed to connect better than when we were just trying to be cute and fluffy and, marketing and all that. But when we actually like took the time, told the real stories, got down behind, closed doors and showed the guts of a business or what we were working on, it seemed to always work.
Cool.
And I don't know if that just like authenticity and that just connects better with people, but every time we got real, then it actually would then get real.
Make a difference. Yeah. Yep. That's cool. Yeah, I think, and we can blame it on social media, but I guess I'll really blame it on people, that I think once you really are like authentic and real and like, and I think even like just like the TV show, like that take you behind the scenes, I think people like get into that and like want to know how things work. So you are sharing like some knowledge, but also you're just like this is real life and being authentic versus polished and scripted and all the fluff.
Some of the videos that I've done like on LinkedIn where I've like read the teleprompter perfectly, and it took me 50 times to do it, right? But when I post like, oh, hey, here are the 5 bloopers, right? Then that one always like gets more traction than the actual one that I read like all the way through without making a mistake. But I think it shows like our human side too.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? And most people, when they see all these, especially like LinkedIn and all that, like most people are posting their most polished things. And yes, it's where we have to be professional, right? But I feel like you can add a little bit of party to it, right? And realness to it. Yeah. And it seems to work.
Yeah, I love it. Sweet. Well, kind of close, and unless there's anything specific also that you want to share, if not, we can jump to the closing questions.
We can close it out.
Let's do it. Is there kind of one last thought? I know we kind of talked about on the strategy side, but just in general related to business or business ownership that you would like to share with the audience? Again, it's mostly like other business owners, mostly in Wilmington.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of talked about understanding your customer profile. I think you can spend a ton of time on strategy, but I think the biggest thing people forget to do is kind of measure the small things and actually like what works. And some people don't really know how to do that. Yeah. That's why they hire people like you. But to understand like, okay, because a lot of people, let's use marketing, for example. They go, well, marketing doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know it doesn't work?
Yeah.
Well, nobody called me.
Right.
Well, okay, maybe not, but are there ways that we can measure that along the way, right? And, I'm sure you live in the marketing world, so, well, print is dead, right? Well, not really, actually.
I think direct mail's about to have a comeback.
Well, because
As much
everyone
as
else
I hate to say it.
everyone else is doing it, all the digital,
Yeah.
right? So if you actually mailed somebody something that actually looked like they were getting invited to something, or made it different than just the hard part is standing out. Well, not really the hard part. The thing that people do that's the easy button is, well, let's just send a postcard with all of our stuff on it.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. People are going to look at it and toss it. But if you actually take that extra step and either personalize it or make it look like they're getting invited to something or like a reason for them to open it, and it's thought out, it's presented, then that's different than what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I think the piece of advice would be to come up with some sort of dashboard of metrics to where you can easily understand what's working in my business and what's not.
Yeah. That's a good one. This is off the wall. But just since you're a marketing person as well, did you watch the Super Bowl?
So oddly enough.
Oh, no.
No, it's fine. We should
have planned this podcast better. It's okay.
No. So Saturday night before the Super Bowl, I started feeling under the weather.
Oh, no.
And had the flu for like 5 days. So I
That's
tried to
terrible.
watch the Super Bowl,
It was a
but I
blur.
did it on my bathroom floor.
Oh, no.
It's fine.
Yeah, the flu is one of my other friends. They had the flu. Like, it's going around. Well, I was just going to ask if you had a favorite Super Bowl commercial.
You know what? I was in and out, like falling asleep, in
That's
and out. But I'll tell you, we can talk about the halftime show.
Yeah, we can.
I wasn't a fan.
Okay.
See, I thought
vet these guests.
Yes, who is lining up these guests? It's just it didn't do it for me. I mean, his dance moves did, but other than that, I know. So a lot of people, I know it's hot and cold about this, and I already
You already know my opinion.
I felt it before I even said I didn't like it. It just
Okay,
I wanted more. I wanted more.
Okay. I can agree. Only on maybe he could have sung a little bit more of each song and maybe cut some ones, because he just did like 5 words from each song until they got to I'm a really big Usher fan.
I can see this.
I think Alicia Keys, it took her a second to get warmed up, but I love Alicia Keys.
You had Ludacris. You had all
Luda,
of them on there.
Lil Jon, I know.
It was, but I just felt like it was very basic for being a Super Bowl, and everyone kind of said, "Well, that was his goal." I mean, there was, and again, this is coming from, was it last year or 2 years ago? And it was like Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and
that one was incredible.
They had that huge set,
yes.
and so
I will
I
give
think,
you that.
I think it was like
production value on that was way higher.
And I mean, he brought the roller skates out, which is
the memes on the roller skates though on social are hilarious.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, it was fine, and I can appreciate his dance moves.
Yeah.
I really can. He's a phenomenal dancer, phenomenal entertainer. I just wasn't entertained.
The overall production.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'll accept it.
Who is lining up these guests? I don't know.
It's like I do it. It's weird.
Your first question, did you like the Super Bowl?
How do you feel about Usher? How do you feel about the Super Bowl halftime performance? It's funny. Okay. Well, there we go. Where can people find you guys? The business, your podcast, your creative outlet. Where?
Sure. So the podcast is called Fanbase. Cool. Our official full name is like Grow A Fanbase, but you can search that on Apple, all that. You can also go to growafanbase.com, and I've done like 7 epides, and like one of them's on there. So, but you can then get to the rest of them.
There's links.
I need to update that. On Creative Outdoor Solutions, the website is thecosnc.com. Cool. It's the best I could do with a .com these days without paying.
We have a .co.
It's okay.
It's okay. I know.
And
the amount of people that will like text me and they're like, Matt, your email got bounced back. I'm like, Probably put an M on there.
Drop the
I'm
M.
Sorry.
Yep.
But yeah, the .com was so expensive. I'm like, I'm not
It's
doing
insane.
that. Okay, so the COSNC.com.
Yep.
Perfect. We'll put that in the show notes. I mean, this is the time of year, and we have have a client that they're like, you have to update your insurance policy before hurricane season. So this is probably the time to start thinking about prepping, even though it's still chilly outside.
We need a storm. We need the threat of a storm. We haven't had one in a while.
Yeah.
I don't want a storm to come by any means, but we need to,
Yeah, be prepared.
We need a
so
spaghetti
before
model.
the threat happens,
That's
you don't
right.
have to stress.
That's
it's
right.
It's already ready.
Peace of mind.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in and
Thank you so
recording
much.
with us. This was fun. We'll regroup on Super Bowl halftime maybe next year. See how that show goes down. Okay. Was the Eminem Snoop, is that like tops for you, or what? Is there one that tops that?
Oh, Bruno.
Good call. Yeah.
Bruno Mars.
Yep. His was incredible. Okay.
I think so. Bruno, what was he, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
So I remember watching that Super Bowl at my parents' house. My dad had no clue who Bruno Mars was. And he goes, man, that guy's good.
Yeah.
And my mind immediately went, if you can make, at that time, a 60-year-old gentleman go, wow, that, like, and connect.
Yes.
And then also me.
Yeah.
And go, because I went, yeah, that guy's good.
Yeah.
And just like to span 30, 40 years of an age gap, that's an entertainer.
Yes. Okay. I'll give you that one. We brought this
We can
podcast
agree on
back.
that
Yes,
one.
we can agree on that one.
Great.
That target audience is niching down. I think we're on the same page. Cool. Well, we'll put the links in the show notes. Again, thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
This
thank
was
you.
Fun. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Toucan Talks, brought to you by Kickstart Collective. If you loved this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you watch podcasts, and follow Kickstart Collective on Instagram at Kickstart Collective.